Hello everyone and welcome back to Today in Reptile News. Yes, even with the title of today's video, today is still Today in Reptile News. It's not a new series or anything. I'm just changing up the titles because I figured that the titles were getting a little bit boring. Just the same thing, Today in Reptiles, over and over and over again. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit, keep it creative. So let's get right into the news. Actually, today we're going to start off with something that's actually happening in Canada. Canada never gets any reptile news. And do you want to put my mouth there, buddy? And so it's very important for me to report on it when it happens because to all of my American friends, Canada generally doesn't have anything really interesting happen in it quite frequently. Like we had an election a couple months ago, but not really anybody else in the entire world paid attention to that besides Canadians. So, back in December, 333 reptiles and amphibians and spiders were taken from a place in Calgary called the Riverfront Aquarium. Now this is insane because there were so many animals, there are literally hundreds of charges that two men are going to walk away with. Not going to walk away with, I should say, they're gonna go to jail. Now this is another big news because it is literally almost the biggest seizure of animals that the Calgary Humane Society has ever taken. And a little bit of a tangent, I don't usually agree with the Humane Society. The Humane Society and me, on a lot of their policies and stuff, rub the wrong way, so to speak. But on this particular instance, this was actually a tip that was an anonymous tip that was handed into them. And then some investigation was done, and then the animals were seized, and they went about it in a very law-abiding manner. And these animals are either being euthanized or they're being adopted out. The ones that can't be saved are being euthanized, and the ones that can be saved are being adopted out, which I totally agree with. A couple of 2 or 3 years ago, I was down in Texas, and there was a seizure of snakes from a home in the Houston area, and I lived about an hour away from Houston. And they said that 4 boa constrictors were left alive. There was like 120 or so animals taken. I think there were 4 boa constrictors alive. And they were at the Houston Humane Society. That's what the news reported on one night. And I checked the hours of the Humane Society, and they said, you know, they're not open. So I was going to call them, I think 9 in the morning the next day. So showed up to work, said, hold on boys, got to go call the Humane Society. Called the Humane Society and told them that I saw the thing that happened on the news the night before and that I would like to take a boa constrictor. The receptionist was very nice, and she said, oh, I wasn't aware we had any boa constrictors. And that kind of that kind of tipped me off to something weird that was happening. And I said, would you mind if I spoke to like one of your managers or one of your higher-ups? She says, oh yeah, certainly, let me transfer you. Click. So I go on, and I'm talking to the manager or whatever. She gets very hostile immediately, very hostile. And immediately tells me basically that these snakes are in the freezer. And I was just heartbroken, like I was devastated. And I told them that I didn't agree with anything that they did, and I told them, you know, where they could go and how they could get there. No, I didn't. I'm too nice for that, surprisingly. And yeah, it was not a fun time, and that was just an isolated occurrence. But if you look, and I can post some links down below to humanewatch.org and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff they do is not very nice to their animals or to humans, and I would really like that word to get out as well. I like to be as unbiased as possible and look at both views before someone makes a decision on what's happening. And I'm going to leave the links down below so you guys can check out those other websites and make your own decision on what the Humane Society is to you and whether you support it or not. Now on to our final news story of today. I know there's only 2 news stories today, but that's because you would not believe the amount that I had saved. And then as I started to actually read through the articles and stuff, realized that they were posted 6 years ago. But some of my friends on Facebook are posting them like they were happening today, and they're very excited about it today. I mean, like that's good. If you're excited about something that happened 6 years ago and you're still excited about it today, I mean, all the power to you. Yeah. But anyways, let's move on. Our final news story of today is not a happy news story, just like that last news story is not a happy news story. Actually, a suspected wildlife smuggler was caught smuggling over 500 different endangered, not 500 different endangered, but 500 endangered turtles of the same and different species in, I believe, China. Actually, let me look that up. Turns out it's not just turtles either. There were monitor lizards, endangered snakes, other lizards, and you know, wildlife smuggling is a huge issue. It's a massive issue. And back, you know, like when you can't get the animals in captivity, when you can't get them captive bred, people, of course, if they want them, are going to start looking outside of captive populations, and they're going to start looking for wild-caught animals. And when you're starting a captive, you know, breeding facility, or you want to get a captive population, you're going to have to capture from the outdoors, and that's an unfortunate side effect. But if you're a responsible keeper and breeder, you are capturing them with the intent that you are securing a captive population, that if anything happens to the outside population, or like in most species of turtles cases, something is happening to the outside population and you want to secure that animal, you know, for eternity, kind of. And it's unfortunate when people smuggle these animals, because that eventually falls back on us. We're suddenly the bad guys because, you know, of course, our hobby had to start off with wild-caught animals. And, I mean, we're not the bad guys. Actually, some of the biggest proponents of conservation and respect for wildlife that I know are reptile keepers and breeders and wildlife managers and stuff like that. And it's unfair to give blanket statements to literally anything. Very unfair to do that. And so that's why I try to refrain from doing so. But yeah, this is a very unfortunate story, and the link is down in the description. It's getting me all bummed out, so I'm gonna let you guys go for now. Today has been a beautiful day. Today has been a wonderful day. It's snowing like a little snow globe outside. You know, the big snowflakes that are falling very lightly and gently. And although I hate the snow and I cannot wait to leave the snow, it is very beautiful outside. So find something today that you find beautiful and cherish it. Lock it away in your little memory banks, and keep it forever, because I love snow like that. I don't like blizzards, and I don't like how cold it is, but always find something, at least one thing a day you can be thankful for, and I can be thankful for how beautiful it is outside right now. So thank you guys so much for watching today in Reptile News. I'll be back at you again tomorrow. This has been a double feature day. Boom, boom. That's 1, 2, not 4, whatever. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.